Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is May 7th, 2021, and this is episode 290. Nocterra is what we're looking at today. This is issue 3, coming out from Image Comics at a whopping $3.99. Now we got this cover here showing our hero Val stepping up. This doesn't actually happen in the book, but it's depicting the night creatures coming out. I think they call them the Shades. There's a brother Emery who is inflicted with the night disease, and Bailey, a grandchild they picked up that has never seen the sun. The earth is encapsulated in a continuous shade. They call it the Great PM, meaning it's nighttime always. And they need light around them in order to keep the shade, the human shade creatures, and also any other living creature that has died or has transformed into the shade. Okay, let's take a look to see who worked at this. Cover's not too bad. I mean, you get a lot of diagonal on it, which is good, showing the action. So let's take a quick look. Scott Snyder is the writer on this. Tony S. Daniel did the art. Tume Moray did the colors, and Ann World did the letters. Editor is Will Dennis. So it starts out with a little bit of a self-narrative from Val, but it's very unnecessary and it's kind of annoying because they're already in such danger. To step back and talk about things that happened in the past when they were children, it doesn't really add to the story because they're already in a big car chase with Blacktop Bill in pursuit behind him. And Blacktop Bill is pure evil. He has killed a number of Val's friends while trying to find this grandchild named Bailey and her grandfather named Gus. Okay, so this is all this backstory about talking about when Val and Emery's adoptive parents had turned, and you can see they've got the glowing red eyes. They say when the eyes glow red and the irises turn into a different shape, that means they cannot be brought back from turning into one of these night creatures. And there you go. So that was kind of a flashback. Then we rip right back into the chase that's going on from the last issue. With the dialogue in black here is Blacktop Bill radioing ahead, telling them to stop, pull over, but they know that it is death either way, so they're going for it. Val is using everything in her book to try to escape. She knows there's a booby trap set up at one of the kind of checkpoint outposts, like it's like a light supply or battery recharging station. And she lures Blacktop Bill and his companions into that. They've already taken down a few of the companions as well. But as you can see, 3 of them make it through, and they continue on. So she's going to blow the back. Oh, she lets down some stars, but it doesn't seem to slow them down at all. They just kind of flip off the car. Meanwhile, Blacktop Bill is going to shoot a harpoon into the back. And these are special harpoons that zap the battery. They're all on battery power now. There's no gasoline to be found in plentiful supplies, I should say. So with Gus and Bailey in the back, Gus makes a decision. He says this is the secret to sunlight. He gives it to Bailey, and he opens the gate and starts firing at Blacktop Bill's car. He gets shot with a harpoon, much to Bailey's chagrin, and pulled back to Blacktop Bill's custom vehicle. So then they don't close. Bailey will not close the doors. Unfortunately, she say, "No, I want to get Grandpa." And you can see she has become under the sight for the next harpoon shot. Val, sensing that she's not going to close the doors, has gone back there and pulls Bailey to safety as the harpoon goes shooting through her cloak. And they get the door closed. Emery has taken over the wheel. Even though he is sick, he just keeps plowing on with it. And you can see there's Gus on top of the roof. He's just barely got any life left in him. He's giving the phony book to Blacktop Bill, but Blacktop Bill's onto him and just chucks it, says this isn't important. Then we get the obligatory image black page. It gets every image. I don't know what it is. Every Image comic seems to have at least one of these in the book. It's really kind of annoying. But just a little bit of narration. They're at mile 415, but they're taking back roads now. They've gone off the main course, and they've gone to this little hideaway cave, which got fluorescent handprints all over it. That helped light everything up as she takes care of Emery, and they talk about the handprints for a while, whether they're real or not. And this is where Bailey tells Val that she's never seen real sunlight, and that's a moving moment for Val. So it ends with, it appears that Emery's eyes have changed, and that means he's no longer himself. So this is where it's to be continued with. I'm not sure how many issues are after this. This is issue 3, so I'm thinking it's at least 5, maybe 6. I don't know if it's going to go on to 12 or 8 or 12, but that's where we're leaving it. So there's a cliffhanger here. This is a recommend. I really didn't enjoy this issue as much as the last 2 issues, but it did move the story forward a bit. Now we get this huge preview that really didn't make too much sense to me. It's a 72-page comic coming out. It's by Cain and Abel. I think that's it's Shaky Cain and Krent Abel. I think those are the author and artist. I'm not 100% sure, because it goes right into this story with Nightmare and Sleepy. So, and it's totally different characters than these two guys. So, as they're in the creep zone, they're driving around, and then we get one more page of Nightmare and Sleepy, and then suddenly it goes to the Fly and some kind of bug man burying the dead Fly, and the astonishing shield bug is. So I'm not sure what's going on with this. It's coming out in June 2021. It says actually continued, so I'm not sure what's going on with this. If it's just a side story with the Cain and Abel stories, but it looks kind of interesting actually, but I don't know enough about it to give it a full recommendation. The Good Asian, I think this came out, and some people said they really enjoyed it. I did not pick it up, and here's the cover for issue 4 for Nocterra, coming out in June 2021. So their allegiance is to the dark. Nocterra, recommend. It does get the Indie Comics Jones good excavating seal of approval since we dug it up this last week, and I appreciate you stopping by and listening to my review. As always, please like, please subscribe if you haven't, please leave comments, and we'll see you next time. I've got a bunch more comics to review this week. This is Indie Comics Jones from the Temple of Tomes bidding you adieu.